This is Yerushalmi Shabbos. In the article Ozba edition, we're starting on the bottom of Lamed Zayin base, the last 2-3 words, but we're really doing top Lamed Chesed Lamed Aleph. And in the Vilna, it's on Lamed Aleph, Amud Aleph, the 8th line down from the Mishnah. Rabbi Yonah said, Yoshe asked, Gerim Haboy Milubis. It's Lubim, Lubis. Gerim which come from Libya. Mountain Lamb Shows. Doors, you have to wait 3 generations. Rabbi Yonah said, Mimad and Anchamin, and he put Mitzrayah. Could see that Egyptian legumes, when they're moist, they're called Libyan. When they're dry, they're called Egyptian legumes. So they're obviously it's the same legume. Tells us that to care from Libya has to wait 3 generations. Why? Because telling us Libya and Egypt are the same country. Talmud. This is really not relevant. Our sugya, it's here brought down just derech hagav of the sugya in Kilayim, which we've just been quoting. There it says that halach is like the Talmud who says that mules, which are where the father is a horse and the mother is a donkey, cannot be mated with mules where the father is a donkey and the mother is a horse. That's the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda there who argues on Chachamim. Chachamim and Rabbi Akiva among them hold that all mules are one type. It's Rabbi Yehuda is called the Talmud, says the Pnei Moshe, because relative to Rabbi Akiva, his Rebbe, he was a Talmud, and Rabbi Akiva is Rebbe, and the Chachamim argue on him. So, but we pass Rabbi Yehuda, so that it's also to mate 2 different species of mules, and to look deeper at Talmud, because they're supposed to be coming pedos echad. So all types of mules are the same. Shalom Shem Rabbi Zera said, "Matem Inyan Isser." Just like there is on our banging back up to our Mishnah. Our Mishnah talk about what an animal is yotze, what it can't be yotze. Now there's 2 diametrical opposite shatim here in the next line of the Gemara. One holds that the Yerushalmi holds in the Tirusa Yisero is okay. Additional shmir above and beyond what was required for a normal animal of that type is fine. The other holds that the Tirusa Yisero is a masui. No. And the Yisera is considered to be a burden and therefore usher for an animal to go out with it on Shabbos. So the question is how to read the next line. Inyan Isser, just like it says that what it says in terms of an Isser, that only these animals go out with an absar and not other animals. Why? Because for them it's not a shmira. It's not enough of a shmira. So the Tirusa Pchusa would be a problem, right? That it's a masui. So also in terms of heter, or other animals can go out with the things mentioned in our Mishnah, even though there are additional masui, because the masui says it's not a problem. That's one way of learning. It's called aliens, the way they're going to Shas learns that way, but the way they're going to Ephraim learns it, it's the opposite. The exact opposite. Inyan Isser, right? That you can't. This is ad kan for a gomo. If an officer suffices, he can't be able to do something more than that. So to all other animals where it's the heter applies, it's only heter what's necessary for them, not what's more than that. That would be usher. This usually said to the masui. So although they don't talk about the flip side, I'm assuming the flip side as well. That they talk about whether the Tirusa Yisera is a masui or not. Some of the Farshim learn according to Yerushalmi, Tirusa Yisera is a masui. The other Sarah hold it's not. So the opposite would be true. So some of those of Farshim Tirusa Yisera would be a masui, hold that the Tirusa Pchusa would probably not be a masui. Those in the Tirusa Yisera is not a masui would probably hold in the Tirusa Yisera Pchusa is a masui. Not sure about that, but that seems to be the case. The Yerushalmi Pshuto suggests that the word v'chein in the next line, v'chein asus b'shir, really goes here, in the line before, and should be k'ma teimar inyan iser v'chein kol shar behema. Puts in the word v'uf. V'uf liyan heter kain. Also in yan heter it's kain. In other words, whatever is just like the iser, we say kain, kol ba'alei shir, etc., etc. It's b'shir, right in our Mishnah. So to the inyan iser, anything which is not yotze b'shir, nimshach b'shir, would be usher as well. So whatever that iser is, again, the question is, what's the iser? Is it mean that Isser is Netirusa Yiserta, and Netirusa Yiser is an Isser, like the Ephraim says, or is it that the Isser is a Netirusa Pchusa, but Netirusa Yiser is not a problem, like the Yuna Shah says? Okay, and maybe it will become clarified later on, because the Ephraim says that she did Yerushalmi Netirusa Yiser is a Masri, but perhaps it'll come out, that's the case, perhaps it'll come in later on, I don't recall. Okay, in the meantime, so according to the Shama Kipshuto, it just should say Hasus Bashir as a header for next statement. So and then it said, of course, that they are Mazin Lam Tobim Mukoiman. So what do you mean? Locate down even close Shiti Adam to main jewelry adornments for a person are Makabatuma. The Shiti Behema Toherin. Shiti Behema are Torah. You know, there's no tumor for adornments for animal. So the Pata Basuim La Noisan. So the way the Kormei learns it, they're made lenoi of a person. In other words, they're initially made as human jewelry, and then they became you downgrade them to be animal jewelry. So therefore, they are makabel tuma because of their initial designation. Um, then he brings down a different girsa, lahan go son, to be manning them. The Yerushalmi Kibbutzim suggests that it's like lahan choson with a ches to lead them, and that the derech of Yerushalmi is to be mavlia, to swallow up the ches. So lahan son is like lahan choson. It's like a little bit like the Spartic pronunciation, the Taimani pronunciation, I guess. Lahan choson, whatever. Anyway, it's made so that reason why it's made to Kabatuma is because it's made to lead the animal, which is attached mish adam. So the Gemara then asks, "Eno sechritz? How can you drag the animal? Are you not making a hole in the ground by dragging an animal on Shabbos?" And look at Shimon. It's like Shimon. It's like Shimon Miskav. His mutter. It's like he's not allowed to drag a bed and a chair, best of safs on a bench. It's a cathedra, a large, uh, large chair, like a throne. They show us a chitz because it makes a hole in the ground. Shimon matir. Shimon permits it. That's the Shimon miskavin. This is the a similar thing which we learned. The time we learned Delis and Delis Goreres, a door which is dragged on the ground. Marcel's Goreres, tarp of some sort which is dragged on the ground. Kinkalin Gorer, this is it says some sort of stone which has holes and it's made like takes the place of a window. Some sort of stoppage for the door. The Posem Noel B'Shabbos Ein Tzarich Rabbi Yontif. That you're allowed to open and close them at Shabbos instead of Yontif. But the main point is here you can be gorer them. You can drag them on the ground, which is the heter of Davar Shem Miskavin. Okay, now we have a heter Mazilim B'Tov Mukhaimam. You can sprinkle on them paraduma water and tovel them while they're in place on the neck. Talmud Zinon, we learned by a woman, Loti Bobem Achitit Rapes, she should not, Terafim, sorry, she should not tovel with straps of adornment on her head until she loosens them. So he says, well, okay, how don't you have to loosen them? Why can't you just tovel as is? I'm going to come but roughing come mabutzim. Obvious answer. Question is whether the it is tight, loose, or soft. Rough, I mean soft, loose. Same idea. Kamba futzi as opposed to where it's a futzi, which is where it's tight. Yeah, that word afutza back in Paragima Elach Zayin about where you have a stone which is lodged tightly into a basket where it's filling up a hole. Okay, same word. Chamor it says in the next says the locha base. Mishnah. Chamor say miradas. Dog you go out with a miradas, which is like a saddle blanket. San shikshul when it's tied onto it. Haschem yotzin levivin. The vuvin. So the gives here. Rechelet yos shchunos. The Males can go out with levuvin, and the chelos go out with shchuzos, kabulos, kfunos. All these things are going to be explained in the Gemara. But these intrusos and the goats can go out wrapped up. The Gemara explains here that their teats are tied up. Sometimes to dry them up, that in order that they shouldn't give any more milk, and then they'll be able to get pregnant again, or that they should get fattened up in order to eat. And sometimes they're tied up in order to preserve the milk. They shouldn't drip to the ground. So you can do that. Rabbi Yossi also Rabbi Yossi asks all these things. There'd be burdens except for the mechelim or chakvunos, which is, well, I might as well explain. It means that they are have some sort of covering in order to preserve the wool. They should not get dirty, and that evidently is a form of a tachshit. Abira says that easy miyotzes surveyshim lolachalev. They go out with wrapped up with their teats wrapped in order that they should not they should get dry, but not that they should provide milk. Says Gemara, Shmuel Amar B'Kshulam Erev Shabbos. It's got to be tied from this mirdas has to be tying the donkey from Erev Shabbos. Otherwise, it's evidently not considered. According to, I should say, according to Korban Eda, if it's not tied from Erev Shabbos, could consider to be a masui. According to Pnei Moshe, it's if you tie it on Shabbos, it's mechsek miskam lechabeim l'rakam rachok. Looks like you're preparing to take it to on a long trip. Evidently, it's an issur in and of itself. Now, some people learn the next line is arguing. The Barashi is arguing on Shmuel, but I don't see that way from the continuity of the Gemara. So, Barashi learning he would not tie on a midas on Shabbos. In other words, like Shmuel said, at the Shulam Erev Shabbos. So and not on Shabbos. And Terasa Yerushalmi brings down the name Rosh because Mishum Mishtamish Baal Chai, because can't to tie it on Shabbos require you to use the Baal Chai or to tie it on, not use the Baal Chai on Shabbos. Armalei, he said no, he Kalstirin. Yes, it's true. He did not tie on a mirdas on Shabbos, but he would tie on a klastirin. Klastirin is a type of tray or basket that they used to put on the mouth of the animal in order to feed. So that which is it's for the pleasure of the animal. The feed bag to tie on Shabbos that he would tie on. The Tani learned Haskarim Yotzim Klastirin. And it goes, they're allowed to go out with the feedback. On Shabbos, it says, I'm not sure why specifically the males, but maybe because the males are going out on Shabbos, so they go out with the feedback. Not sure why specifically Scharim. There's a gears, by the way, that Yerushalmi brings down is Amalei Noig Rab Kastirin. Okay, Ezi Rabbi Acha bar Papa Kum Rabbi Zira. But Tiny Chevashul Kosher Para Kosher so Beibus. It says that a rope which is tied onto an animal, onto the cow, you can tie it onto the boost, you can tie it on to the feed trough. Beibus Kosher so Para, but tie the feed trough, you can tie it onto the animal. Aren't using the size of the animal on Shabbos if you're tying things on the animal, so it should be a problem, right? So if you're saying Mishnah Baal Chai is a problem, how can you tie these things on Shabbos? So Mora says, they are knots which are not Ksharim Shokayama, which is true. It has to be a Kesher Shokayama anyway, but what does that have to say Behema? Says Gemara, Amr Rabbi Yossi Shani Tzidei Behema Bein Kesher Shu Kayama Bein Kesher Shein Shokayama. Okay, for other purposes, makes them Kesher Kayama Kesher Shokayama. But why for the purpose of have to do with Mishtamish Tzidei Behema? So the Gemara says, Amr Rabbi Shai Depatik Rabbi Shimon Lozer. It's got to go to Shimon Lozer. Time of Shimon Lozer. Mutzi Mishtamish Tzidei Behema B'Shabbos. you're allowed to use the size of an animal on Shabbos. We'll change the gears so because the brights we have it in the Bavli is that you're allowed to use the tzidei ilan on Shabbos. So the tree, and the Gemara says hutzei ilan hutzei behema. Opposite what it says here, but it's possible to read it this way, and that what the Yerushalmi is saying, you're allowed to behema because we know, according to Shmuel, because we know we hold about tzidei behema, that tzidei ilan is mutar, tzidei behema, tzidei ilan. That's one possibility. Say it's going to Shmuel. I have another shot that there's already a rope there from before Shabbos, and you add another rope to that, and that's not Mishtam to the Bema because the Bema already tied to the initial rope. This rope is adding on is not using the Tzidei Bema, and that's okay. Okay, Schar Milti Levuvim. What's Schar Milti Levuvim? It says Gemara Shemnosin or Mikursinun. You put or Plain Moshe says an or koshesh no tell me a bursaki. It's a tough piece of leather you take from the tanner. The nose no neged libo. Put up zarvu mitris. It's a shield can chaya shotzipol of if an animal wants to fall and attack on this animal. Or matris keneged chaya. It's a shield against any animal which might come to attack it. Sometimes say shkuzos with a ches, istane tane shuzos. It's like we had earlier the Lano son, right here we have shuzos, somewhere. Manamar, shuzos atidon. Shuzos is, just read the plain Moshe. Klamar Tarvayim and Farshay, they both explain that shows it's made in order that the male should mate with them. He fix the females for this purpose. Shuzos is a lotion of shis zona. The shis zona, if you contract words, it comes shuzos. You're placing them to be licentious, and the other opinion which shows shuzos. Shuzos mefarish nami achi. Shuzos isha the ein mashchizin. Who shemachadin osam lakach. You sharpen them for this purpose. Okay, so that's what it says. Madamar shuzos shmatan k'motem ashiz donot sur a slave. Man the man meanda me'ayin the man the mar shuzos. It's an interesting term. Me'ayin. I guess they changed the issue just to Mandamar. But anyway, Mandamar Shkuz Kumatema Emashkiz and Sakin. Okay, and it's sharpen them for this purpose. Like it says, you don't sharpen a knife, it means to sharpen them for the purpose. Kivunos Lamilas. When they go to kivunos, it's to cover their wool to make fine wool, which is called milas, that shouldn't get dirty in any way, shape, or form. Kivulos, cabled up literally, Shloya Leilem Zochar. That the male should not mate with them. But Moshe said by Kolam Eretz Kavul. It's a land which is called Eretz Kavul in Malachim, a cabled land. Shelo Eretz She'enos Aperos, which is a land which was not productive, did not produce any fruit, and that's why it's called Kavul. Language of cabled up. And I think that brings us to Lamed Tes Amud Aleph. Just check. Yeah, we'll stop here for today.